Welcome to The Hot Slice, a podcast brought to you by Pizza Today magazine. I am creative director Josh Cowan. Along with me, executive editor, and the person who really runs the show on this podcast, Miss Denise Greer. Hello, Denise.
Hello, Josh. I'm happy to do it because this actually is one of my favorite things that I get to do now is to actually talk on Zoom with pizzeria operators. And I just love to share all the stories. Sometimes it'll be a new operator, a seasoned operator, a veteran operator. I don't care. I want to talk to them all.
Right. I mean, we talk to a lot, at Pizza Expo and whatever else we do at PizzaCon, but we don't get to sit down like, have a 30-minute chat with somebody like we do with the podcast and I always just get so much valuable stuff from them when we do that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we have a lot of things happening right now. We're talking end of January. How is it already the end of January? I don't know what happened to January, but I'm kind of glad it's gone or going.
It can go by you faster. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be rid of the negative 10-degree temperatures and
Yeah.
I've had snow on my ground for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're not used to that here. We're not used to snow that sticks around after a couple of days.
yeah,
And the fact that right now, okay, California is on fire. Florida is currently getting snow.
yeah. New
Like
Orleans getting
New
snow.
Orleans. New Orleans has been my favorite place to watch snow because they're so excited and they're playing music and they're dancing and I'm just like this is everything to me is watching them get so excited about snow.
You
So if you
you
haven't
shared with
watched
you.
it, go to social media and watch New Orleans reaction to snow.
You shared with us a Pizza Delicious said that they're taking their very first snow day.
Snow
Uh,
day, yes.
that was amazing.
you know and with these weather issues, I do feel bad for pizzerias right now because some of them are having to close with weather closures so their staff stays safe. And I actually saw a TikTok the other day, and a guy was showing all of these restaurants, and there were a lot of employees that they didn't know the snow, they didn't think the snow was going to come, and so the snow did come, and those cities aren't prepared. So their employees actually were getting stuck at work
Oh,
for a little
wow.
bit. So there are lots of challenges with weather. So it has got to be a hard decision for a restaurant to make of whether to open, whether to close, whether to delay opening. So we are feeling you, and hopefully, we'll be able to be out of this soon. Let's hope we have a better, warmer February.
Especially those, like in Texas and Florida, they
Yeah,
are completely, you know, uh,
Houston had a snow day.
right. Now, Vermont and New Jersey and New York, they're all laughing at us right now.
Yeah,
Because
no.
that's the norm every winter, but it's not for us. But
Not
anyway.
for us. But anyway, we can talk about snow all day long. But luckily,
Yeah,
we have a guest to
yeah,
talk
well,
about.
before we get to that, I got one update.
Okay,
Pizza Expo, as you know, is coming up in March.
so
And
much,
yeah,
so
and
much.
if you registration is open, and we have the saver rate going on right now, which is $230, and that ends January 31st. So if you want to save some money on Pizza Expo, please register before January 31st.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I knew that the last update I had is there were still some competition spots available. Now, I don't know if that's the case
Surprising.
anymore. So if you get on there and there happens to be a competition spot open, you should probably grab it if you're looking to compete in whichever category is still available, because they certainly go really fast and I'm really excited for this year. So I can't wait to see who competes. I've already heard from some folks that have never competed before, and they're like, Denise, I'm competing. I'm so excited. And I'm jazzed for those folks because it's going to be exciting.
And it's going to be our biggest competition ever, bar none, not even
No.
close. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, it's going to be a sight to see. But
I'm
anyway,
ex I'm excited. Our guest is going to be at Pizza Expo because he told us that. So so we talked to Joe Argento from Mama's Meatball and Pizzeria in Pennsauken, New Jersey, just outside of Philly, right? Just outside of Philadelphia.
yep.
And So we talked about his business a little bit. He's got a great little perspective on business as growing up in a pizzeria and then starting his own pizzeria and shifting into a new pizzeria. He's kind of gone the gambit.
Yeah, it's he's definitely had a life of pizza. I think he said he started working at his grandma's pizzeria at age 8.
Eight,
Uh,
eight.
so the knowledge goes deep as far as knowing the pizza business with Joseph. So
He
it was
was a
great.
better cook at 8 than I am today, probably.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, I didn't say this in the podcast, but go to Mama's Meatballs Instagram and check out some of the menu options that Joe has there.
Yeah.
There's some really creative stuff and some stuff that's like could really move the needle on social media, like
Mhm.
the garlic knot chicken parm we talked about.
Yeah, with a vodka sauce. He
Yeah,
had me at vodka sauce.
thinking about a garlic knot bun of anything, put anything in the middle of it, and you're fine.
I don't
So
know, unless you're seeing this on YouTube, then you can't see that I'm actually physically drooling right now, and I'm trying not to wipe
get
my
yourself under
face.
control, Denise.
I know, I love food. I'm just, I just had lunch, and he made me hungry talking about all of his amazing food, and the fact that he has so many different versions of meatballs, because we all know that I love a good meatball.
Yes, it's my favorite. So, but anyway, sit back and relax and enjoy our talk with Joe.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Ruby, a fifth generation dairy farmer here in Humboldt County, California. Did you know that 99% of California's dairy farms are family owned? And we're proud to sustainably produce the milk that goes into quality cheeses you use to create your delicious pizzas. Thanks for helping make California not only America's #1 dairy state, but the leading producer of mozzarella too. We hope you enjoy this podcast.
Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide.
All right. Hey, Joe, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on with
Welcome.
us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It is,
Really appreciate it.
I know we had talked before we came on the show. It's a balmy, single digit temperatures where you and I are both at. So we're just trying to stay warm these days.
Yeah,
Heard that.
Um,
absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about your pizzeria, because we, of course, love the focus on meatballs, even in the title. That makes me really happy.
I'm a
But
meatball person.
yeah, Josh and I are
Well, I
both
go
really
to.
meatball.
Well,
So,
then you would definitely like our spot. We got 5 different types of meatballs. Um, but Mama's Meatballs actually began as a food truck back in 2013. Um, the original owner, his focus was the meatballs. It was the food truck. He did the night markets in Philly, did a whole bunch of different Philadelphia food truck events in South Jersey, that whole entire area. Um, During the pandemic, or it was actually it was kind of like right at the cusp of the pandemic. It started to happen before the pandemic, but business was not going so well. They were closed for like uh, 9 months, and then right as the pandemic hit, is he put it up for sale, and my wife and I, we had just sold our first pizzeria, which was out in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, and essentially my wife wanted to go full mobile, and I was like, I don't want to go full mobile. I want a storefront. And we found Mama's Meatballs, and it had both. It had a storefront and a food truck. The storefront really wasn't developed. It was more a commissary for the food truck.
mhm.
So when we purchased the place back in 2020, we spent some time revamping it, uh, creating a new menu, and then opened up the end of July in 2020. So we've been almost rocking out for 5 years. Um, it's a unique concept because of the meatballs. Like I said, we have 5 different types of meatballs, which is definitely an attraction. But we focus on we make our own bread in house, so we do sandwiches. I would say we're a pizzeria, but we sell an awful lot of sandwiches because of our unique combinations and our homemade bread.
Yeah, I saw your Philly. It looks really, really good.
I mean, your entire menu is amazing. I mean, how like the garlic knot chicken parmesan. I saw
I
that. I was like, I've
saw
never seen
that
that.
too.
The garlic
I
nut
was
chicken
like, I've
parm
never seen that
sliders.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
with the
what you're doing with
vodka
your menu is
sauce.
amazing.
Yeah, it's with
Hmm.
the vodka sauce, chicken parm. We make oversized garlic knots in the sliders and do vodka chicken parm on it. So, yeah.
That's pretty creative, turning an oversized garlic knot into a slider. I really like that, and that's something I haven't seen done
Yeah.
before, to
I
turn a
mean,
garlic knot into a slider. So as you're listening, that's pretty
everybody's gonna be
cool.
doing it now, though.
No.
Well, I wish I could take credit for it. I cannot take credit for it. My customers know that I'm constantly playing with things and tweaking things. At the end of the day, I like to keep people's attention.
Mhm.
I'm also, I'm a I'm a food person to my core. And so like my customers see something, they're like, "Oh, I saw this on TikTok," and they'll send me a video. And I'm like, "I'll count me in. I got it. I'll
Yeah,
have it on this. I'll have it tomorrow." You know what I mean? So
I love that. That's
Let's talk.
awesome.
Yeah, let's talk about the evolution of your menu. I mean, you started out with just meatballs, and so when you guys opened up in 2020, was did you know right then, hey, we're gonna put pizza in there and go from there?
no, to be honest with you, I was, after I've been in the pizza business my entire life. My grandparents, my father, my aunts and uncles came here from Carini, Sicily, and I want to say they came here in 1973 or 1974, opened up their first pizzeria in 1976. I was born in 1986, so I was literally born into the pizzeria business. I spent all my younger years in the pizzeria with my uncles and my dad and my grandparents. And um, at 8 years old, I started working in my grandparents' pizzeria, and by the time I was 13, I was making pizzas, and I fell in love with it. And then I opened up my own first restaurant, and I had pizzas, and I was there 7 days a week for like a couple years straight. It's a grind, and I was like, you know what? After we sold that place off, I was like, I really wanted to. I was like, I don't even know if I want to do pizzas because it's difficult to train people to do things the way that you want them done,
Mhm.
or at least that's what I thought. That was the paradigm that I had at that point in time. Um, I just wanted to open up a sandwich shop, and my wife's like, "You are too talented at making pizza to just make it a sandwich shop." So, when we took over Mama's Meatballs, she really pushed me to add the pizzas to the menu. The rest of our menu, as far as sandwiches go, I don't know if you guys have visited Philly much, but a lot of our sandwiches are South Philly, uh, Italian sandwich shop inspired sandwiches. There's stuff I
Yeah.
grew up eating my entire life, like the Philly Willy. You were saying about the Philly Willy. Philly Willy is it's a topping set. It's broccoli
Yeah.
rabe, long hot, sharp provolone cheese with a garlic and oil sauce. And you can get that on a cheesesteak, you can get it on a chicken cutlet, you can get it on the meatballs, you can get it with our homemade roast pork. It's a flavor combo. So yeah, I just those are the things that I grew up, going to South Philly sandwich shops and enjoying. And so I wanted to bring it to my menu and just put my little twist on it.
That's awesome. Something you had said as you were describing your business, it really caught my ear, and that was that you turned what was a commissary into a restaurant. Could you tell us about kind of that process of turning it into a restaurant? And does it have seating, or are you just takeout and delivery? Like how does your shop work?
So the commissary was essentially the space that was the commissary um was a pizza shop for like 20 plus years.
Okay.
So it was already set up to be a pizzeria. As far as obviously we've made little tweaks and changes as far as just the ergonomics of it all.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're a takeout and delivery spot only for the past 5 years. We do have Um, like quick service seating. Like if you've ever been in these sandwich shops in Phillies, you can go in, grab a sandwich, stand up, eat your sandwich, and be out. So we do have some quick service tables, but we don't have a dining room. We did about 24 months ago. We had leased the space next to us, and we're trying to open up a dining room because we really, at the end of the day, everybody knows pizza's best on a tray, not in a box,
Mhm.
I'm no stranger to that. But so we were trying to open up a dining room, but we met extreme opposition between the landlord not doing things that the township wanted them to do, and the township uh, being selectively enforcing on certain things. So we held on to the spot for 18 months, realized that what we wanted to do in the township that we're in wasn't going to happen in that space. So we got out of the lease, I think, back in August or September of this year, after like 18 months of pushing through and trying to make it work. So we still have the hopes and dreams of moving to a different space, opening up a dining room, and being able to serve our food fresh, hot, and on the spot, rather, from pickup or delivery. But yeah, we're set up as a takeout and delivery spot, and regardless, we crank, we do. I mean,
Yeah.
we're a pretty busy spot, so.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about what happened with that? I'm curious about that space. We do hear this from a lot of operators getting opposition with working with regulations within cities and townships, and then landlords. Was it pretty easy to get out of that lease, or did you have to go through a lot to get out of that lease? Because a binding legal agreement, I would imagine that was probably pretty challenging.
Surprisingly, it wasn't.
That's good.
The dynamics of the situation, uh, kind of led to it all. Essentially, we were locked into a lease. With that being said, the township, before I even signed the lease, I reached out to the township. I said, listen, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. What do I got to do? They said, hire an architect, get the drawings, submit them for the permits. We'll approve them. You do your construction. So that's all we got to do. They said, that's all you got to do. So I did that. I signed the lease, did exactly what they said, submit the permits, and then they go, oh, you're at this location. And they're like, yeah, well, there's some things that have gone down in that shopping center based off of who your landlord is. They've done some sneaky dealings and this, that, the other thing. They're against township rules and regulations. And so we're not allowing any permits to be approved until this, and this gets
Yeah.
done. So there was a laundry list of things to do.
Completely out
Um,
of your hands at that point.
Yeah.
completely out of my hands. I mean, well, I don't want to say, because I'm a person who assumes responsibility in any given situation. It's the only way that I can control something, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, I look at the list of things to do. My wife and I, we start tackling these things. Now, majority of these, I mean, all this stuff was things that should have been done by the landlord, but he kind of refused to do them. Felt that, well, technically they were selectively enforcing, but only because he had spent 2 decades doing things the wrong way when bringing tenants in and out of the shopping center, based off township rules and regulations. So now they're selectively enforcing because of his misconduct. They're now choosing to selectively enforce, which then affected our business. So what we did is we looked at a laundry list of things to do, and we did everything in our power that we could have possibly done, except the things that 100% definitively had to come from the landlord, in which he refused to do them or procrastinated on them or what have you, which at the end cost us tens of thousands of dollars. And so what happened was he had actually come to us, and I hate to say it, but he's just the type of person that is a greedy individual. And so one day I get a phone call, and he's like, did you what's going on with that dining room? Are you opening it up or not? And my automatic, response was get defensive. Yeah, exactly. Was get defensive. And then, I thought about it for a second, and I said, I thought about why he would be asking me that question. I said, why? You have somebody that wants to lease that space for more money than what I'm paying you? And he's like, actually, I do. And I'm
And you're
like,
like, okay, take
okay.
it.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I said. I said, let's sit down and figure it out, and I'll give up my lease. So that's what I did, and which at the end of the day, everything works out because
Yeah.
what for me is like it was a relief in a sense, and it allows me to kind of narrow my focus and realize, okay, this is where I want to go with my business, but this specific location isn't going to allow that, so I have to you know figure
It,
that out.
it's
Yeah.
quite a lesson learned for sure, when you're going into negotiations for the next landlord. That's a bunch of things you can look at that you've never thought about for sure.
Well, you know what the perspective is there's not going to be another landlord. The next building
Oh,
I'm
you're
going
gonna
into,
own.
Good idea.
I'm gonna own the building.
Yeah.
I'm gonna and you know what? Again, same thing. Like when I bought Mama's Meatballs, I inherited a space, I inherited an equipment,
Mhm.
and it's been upgrading after upgrading and fixing after fixing. It's all this
Yeah.
different types of stuff. And my wife and I, we just said, you know what? We're gonna knuckle down and just do the right thing while we're here, and we're gonna look for and find the right space, the right place that we can purchase, and then build my dream kitchen, build my dream
Yeah.
pizzeria. You
Love it.
know,
What
yeah.
what what does that dream look like? I'm just curious.
What does that dream look like?
Yeah,
It looks like
what does that space look like that you're trying to find there there where you're at?
uh it looks rustic, yet sleek. It looks like a fast casual quick service,
Hmm.
counter ordering, bring out to your table, kind of like like a Panera concept almost, but for a you know pizzeria style, kind of like that.
Hmm.
We like to use technology, so whether it's kiosk ordering, or app ordering, QR ordering, that kind of stuff, and just making it easy for the customer to get in, get get their food, eat, and be on their merry way. I mean, I think that's the beauty of a pizzeria. There are pizzerias that are more upscale than that, but from my perspective and the style that we are. I just feel like that is the best way to do it. The other thing is we're if you come into our shop, it's I don't want to say it's a step back in time in a sense like that, but we have a lot of memorabilia on the walls
Hmm.
from like the Rat Pack and Sinatra, and we always have Sinatra playing and that kind of thing, Dean Martin. So when people come in, they get a certain feel, a certain vibe, a certain nostalgia, when they come in, and that's kind of the vibe that I like to create because to me, pizza's my life, but pizza's nostalgic, and I
Hmm.
love it when somebody comes in. I've had many people come in and be like, you know what, there used to be this place that I ate pizza at growing up, and they're no longer there, and I haven't had a slice that struck a chord the way that your slice strikes a chord, and to me, that's what it's all about. So
Yeah,
it's all about the
nostalgia,
nostalgia.
powerful thing. So, and
It's
pizza's always good on the
sensory.
side. Right, right. I mean,
It's sensory.
everybody grows up eating pizzas, have a good time. So,
I can still smell the pizzeria I grew up in, and I can feel those lights that they had, like just the whole environment. And so that's the hardest thing as a pizzeria operator. How do you create that vibe that people
Yeah,
remember 40 years later? You know,
yeah,
not that I'm
yeah.
outing myself that I'm over 40, but whatever.
No, you're 100% correct. I mean, that's what it comes down to is, and pizza to me, it's comfort food. And that's I always tell my staff is like, listen, food, not just pizza, but food in general, especially with Italian American culture, pizzas, the sandwiches, that kind of thing. Food isn't supposed to be an experience. It's
Yeah,
supposed to be something that when you sit down, it slows the chaos of the day down, and you're able to
I like
connect with
that.
people. And so that's whether it's takeout, whether it's eat-in, whether I want people to slow their life down for a moment, connect over some good food, and be able to build memories off of that. And because that's what it is to me. That's what it's always been to me, and that's why I love this business so much, is because that's the effect that it has.
I see that you have multiple styles of pizza. I saw your grandma's. Are you thinking about adding any more? I mean, you have a crazy menu right now. Are you you want to add any more chaos to that, or
No, no, you know what?
No.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, with this concept, I want to kind of stay in my lane. You know, keep it the to I would what I would consider the three New York styles: the grandmas, the Sicilians, and the rounds, the New York rounds. You know, I have, as time has gone on, I grew up in a pizzeria that, my family's pizzeria where there was, 30 different topped pies. And, my first restaurant was the same way. I actually did more styles. I did like six, I think like six styles in my first pizzeria, and I realized it was just chaos. And
Mhm.
when you're doing too much, you're focused on doing more to appease more people, but
Yeah,
I believe that the quality lacks because of it. So my focus is really to focus on doing fewer things. Like, even if you notice, like, our menu is expanded in a sense that, well, we have chicken cutlets and we have ribeye cheesesteaks and we have five different types of meatballs. But if you look at all of those things, there is a repetitiveness to it, because it's like that we have different types of proteins, but then they're all topped. They all have the ability to be topped the same way. So
gotcha.
even though it looks like a really big menu, it's really not. But what's cool about that is we get to focus on, doing everything from scratch. So at the end of the day, I think of it like, I wouldn't go over you wouldn't come to my house and I would serve you frozen stuff out of a bag, right? I'm not going to do it, right? Like, that's not how I grew up. That's not my culture. So why would I do that to customers, right?
Yeah.
I want you to, I want you to enjoy the food that we make and put time, love, care, effort, and energy into, the same way that if you would come to my house,
And there's nothing more noticeable than when you're getting frozen versus house made. I mean, it
Yeah.
is on
I
the
can't.
spot noticeable,
Yeah.
and it's not going to leave you with any good feelings whatsoever. So yeah,
There's a significant difference. I mean, it's about the time and the attention and the care. I drill it when I hire new people and when we train new people. First thing I ask them is, "Do you have a mom?" And they're all like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do you love your mom?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, so I have a couple of rules. Rule number one is we treat our customers like guests, like they're our family coming in to our
Mhm.
home. We're going to treat them with kindness and courteousness, and we're going to, give them an experience." The second thing is, we're never going to serve food to a customer that we wouldn't be proud to serve to our mom, right?
I
And the
love that.
last thing, and the last thing is, we're going to clean this facility the way that we would clean our own home if our mother was coming to visit. Like, at the end of the day, those are my rules. Is like, that's
yeah.
it. We treat the guests as our family. We make food as if we were making it for our own mother, and we clean our store and keep it clean at all points and times, the way that if our mother was walking in here, and to show her how proud we are of the work that we do. So that sums it up.
I love that.
I think that's the perfect way to end the podcast. You rounded it right to even the name of your pizzeria. So I think that's
Everything goes back
awesome.
to mom. Everything goes
Everything
back
goes
to mom.
back to mom. I agree.
Everything goes back to mom. That's it. You
I
know.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, you take care, winter. We're gonna be done with winter at some point. So we're gonna all be rejoicing with some good weather, and maybe you'll be able to get that food truck out and get all the people lined up for it as well.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for having me, and I hope to see you guys at Expo.
Oh,
We will
you'll
be
see us.
there. Come by the Pizza Today booth. We may be
All
there. We
right.
might be stuffing our face at the competition area. That's usually, if you don't see us at Pizza Today booth, you'll see us at the competition area
It'll be
usually.
great to meet you there. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
great. And good luck with
Fantastic.
the kitchen of the future for you.
yeah,
Thank you.
Good luck.
I
absolutely.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Take care, Joe. See
Have
ya.
a good one. Bye.